God's warning, don't give up on the one He chose for you. That's the message. And it's not by chance that you clicked on this video right now. Have you been wrestling with the thought of walking away? Have you told yourself, maybe I misunderstood? Maybe this isn't God's plan after all? Let me speak directly to your soul. God has not changed His mind. Before we go further, pause for a moment. I want you to type one prophetic word in the comments right now. Just one word that reflects your faith. Maybe it's trust. Maybe it's chosen. Maybe it's promise. Do it now, because your comment isn't just interaction, it's a declaration. And when you write it, you align yourself with the word you're about to hear. Now listen closely. God is saying, don't give up on that person. Even when the silence feels endless, even when rejection stings, even when the distance grows wider, His plan remains untouched. Jeremiah 29:11 reminds you, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." That hope includes relationships aligned with His purpose. That person He marked for you still carries the seal of divine intention. You've been praying, you've been waiting, and you've been asking, "Lord, how do I know this isn't just me holding on to nothing?" Let me tell you, when God chooses someone, the evidence is not in the speed, it's in the consistency. Their presence in your spirit doesn't fade. Dreams, visions, subtle confirmations keep circling back. That is not coincidence. That is heaven's echo. Maybe you've grown tired of the wait. You've thought of settling. You've considered choosing someone else just to fill the emptiness. But can I warn you? When God sets someone apart for you, substitutes will never satisfy. It will feel like drinking salt water, quenching for a moment, but leaving you thirstier in the end. This is where the tension lies. You want to move on, but something divine keeps pulling you back. That pull is not weakness. It's not obsession. It's alignment. Proverbs 19:21 says, "Many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails." You can try to cut it off, but if God has chosen, His purpose will prevail. Now hear me clearly. This doesn't mean you chase after someone blindly, ignoring wisdom, ignoring red flags. God's choice always carries peace. Even in the wait, even in the testing, there is a spiritual calm beneath the storm. If you don't feel that peace, it may not be His choice. But if peace keeps resurfacing despite the silence, then this is not the end. This is why you cannot give up, because giving up now would be like walking out of the waiting room just before your name is called. You don't see what heaven is arranging. You don't see the battles God is fighting on your behalf. But behind the curtain, He is shifting pieces into place. And before we continue, let me remind you, don't just listen passively. This is a prophetic journey. Subscribe now, because these words are not random. They are appointed for your season. And check the playlist I've linked in the description below. Every video in it builds on this message step by step, so you don't lose sight of what God is saying about your life. Now here's the truth most people never realize. The greatest battles happen right before the greatest breakthroughs. And when it comes to relationships God ordains, the enemy fights hardest at the brink of manifestation. That's why you feel weary. That's why you feel like giving up. But giving up now would be surrendering your inheritance at the final gate. You're not here by mistake. This word is a warning and a reassurance. God is saying, the story isn't finished. The ending hasn't been written yet. And before this video ends, I will show you the exact sign God uses to confirm when someone is truly chosen by Him. Stay with me, because what comes next will shake the doubt off your soul. You've been asking in secret, "Lord, give me a sign. Show me if this is truly the one you've chosen. And it feels like heaven is quiet. But let me reveal something most people overlook. God often hides his confirmation in seasons of silence. The silence isn't absence, it's alignment. Think about Joseph in Genesis. God gave him dreams of greatness, but instead of immediate fulfillment, he was thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, and imprisoned. From the outside, it looked like abandonment. But from heaven's perspective, every delay was positioning him closer to his destiny. That's how it works with chosen relationships too. The silence, the pauses, the setbacks, they're not rejection, they're redirection. I want you to hear this carefully. God never wastes time. If this person is truly chosen for you, then every delay is working in your favor. Romans 8:28 says, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." Notice it doesn't say some things, it says all things. Even the waiting, even the tears, even the closed doors.
But here's where the enemy attacks. He whispers, "If this was really from God, wouldn't it have happened by now?" And you start comparing yourself to others. Friends getting married, couples posting pictures, testimonies that make you feel left behind. But God is saying to you right now, stop measuring my timing by someone else's calendar. My plan for you is unique, and my chosen one for you cannot be replaced. Let me pause right here and ask you something prophetic. Have you ever felt like God confirmed this person in ways too specific to ignore? A verse that spoke directly to your situation, a dream that wouldn't leave you, a word that seemed tailored just for you. If that's you, write the word confirmed in the comments. Do it now, because when you type it, you're sealing your faith with action. Here's a secret most people miss. The closer you get to the promise, the harder it becomes to hold on. That's why the pressure feels unbearable now. That's why you've been tempted to quit. Satan wants to break you at the threshold so you never see the fullness of God's plan. But your persistence is warfare. Every day you choose not to give up, you're declaring in the spirit realm, I trust God's choice more than my feelings. And let me tell you something prophetic. God's choice for you will always come with a refining season. They may not look ready now. They may even seem distant, confused, or distracted. But just like gold is purified in fire, so is the heart of the one God chose for you. Malachi 3:3 says, "He will sit as a refiner and purifier of silver. He will purify the Levites and refine them like gold and silver." If he does this for his servants, why wouldn't he do it for the one he's preparing for you? Don't mistake silence for abandonment. Don't mistake delay for denial. The one he chose is still under construction. And if you give up now, you might miss the season when the refining ends and the blessing is revealed. Now, before we move into the next part, let me lead you deeper. In the description below, I've linked a playlist that continues this prophetic journey. Don't just watch this video alone. Watch the others too, because each one unfolds another piece of the puzzle. This is not just content, it's a roadmap God is using to keep your faith alive. Here's what I want you to hold on to. When God has chosen someone for you, there will always be resistance before release. And in the next chapter, I will reveal the unmistakable biblical sign that confirms when it's truly God's hand, and not just your emotions. Stay with me, because the next revelation could be the exact clarity your heart has been praying for. Perfect. Let's ride on with chapter 3. This is where we raise the tension and deliver the big revelation the viewer has been waiting for. It should feel like the moment everything clicks, backed by Scripture, while still teasing the ultimate resolution in the final chapter. Here's the moment you've been waiting for. The unmistakable biblical sign that reveals when someone is truly chosen by God for your life. And I want you to lean in, because this isn't a shallow sign like butterflies, emotions, or good chemistry. No, this is something much deeper, something that only comes from the Spirit of God. The sign is this: when it is God's choice, there will be confirmation through peace and alignment with His Word. Philippians 4:7 says, "And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus." That peace cannot be faked. Even if circumstances look chaotic, even if distance or silence surrounds you, there is still a calm in your spirit that says, "This is the one." Think of Ruth and Boaz. On the surface, their story looked impossible. Ruth was a foreigner. Boaz was an established man in Bethlehem. Everything about their background screamed unlikely. But when God orchestrates a union, He aligns steps that don't make sense. Boaz noticed Ruth's faithfulness. Ruth honored Naomi's guidance. And before long, the peace of God settled on their union. That peace was the evidence. That peace was the sign. Now hear this: when it's God's choice, their presence doesn't compete with your destiny, it complements it. Amos 3:3 asks, "Can two walk together unless they are agreed?" The chosen one will not pull you away from God, but deeper into Him. They will not drown out your calling, they will amplify it. That's how you know. But let me ask you something very personal. Have you already experienced that peace with this person? Even in the moments when nothing made sense, did you still feel a strange assurance that God was in it? If so, don't ignore it. Right now, type the word peace in the comments. Declare it as a sign that you still believe God's hand is at work. Here's another mark. God's chosen connections often endure strange trials because the enemy is trying to destroy what heaven has designed. That's why some of you have faced sudden distance, unexpected arguments, even unexplained silence. But instead of breaking, the bond in your spirit remains. You still pray for them. You still dream of them. You still feel their name stir in your heart at random moments. This is not obsession. It is divine persistence. God keeps bringing them to your spirit because His hand has not been lifted. And here's the tension loop. Peace doesn't mean there will be no battles. In fact, peace often comes wrapped in storms. Remember when Jesus told His disciples, "Let us go over to the other side"? The moment they stepped into the boat, a storm arose. But because Jesus was present, peace remained the anchor. In the same way, when God chooses someone for you, storms will come, but His peace will anchor you. This is why God is warning you now. Don't give up. The storm is not the end. The silence is not the answer. The peace beneath the storm is the proof that heaven is still working. Before I show you the final revelation, the ultimate reason you cannot walk away, go deeper with me. In the description below, I've linked a playlist that will stretch your faith, answer your hidden questions, and carry you step by step into clarity. Watch it after this, because your spirit needs this continuity. But don't leave yet, because in the final chapter, I'm going to reveal why giving up right now could cost you not only the person, but a piece of your divine destiny. And once you hear it, you'll never look at this story the same way again. Stay with me. The conclusion will shake you. You made it this far because your heart is not ready to settle for less. Right now, before I say anything else, type one prophetic word in the comments. One word only. Something like chosen, trust, or promise. Do it now. Your comment is an act of faith. It aligns your spirit with what God is about to declare. Listen, if you walk away now, you are not just losing a person. You're walking out on a piece of your destiny. This is not dramatic language. It is spiritual truth. God ties seasons together. He weaves your pain into your purpose. The person He placed in your path is part of a tapestry only He can see. When you give up out of impatience, you cut a thread that might have held a major blessing. That is why this warning is urgent. That is why you must not treat this like ordinary disappointment. You say, I am tired. I have been hurt. I have given and received nothing. I know. Your exhaustion tells a story, but exhaustion is not a verdict. It is a crossroads. Choose well. Let patience be the voice that answers the enemy. James reminds you that the testing of your faith produces endurance. The endurance then finishes its work so you may be complete, lacking nothing. That finishing is part of your story. This relationship is not separate from your spiritual formation. If God is doing a work in your heart, He can do a work through another heart as well. Two refined hearts will not ruin your calling. They will enlarge it. Hear me clearly. The final test of your faith often arrives as a final temptation to quit. The enemy is clever. He will make the delay unbearable. He will point to every opening as proof that you misread God. He will show you better, easier choices. Do not take the bait. When God is at work, what looks like setback is often set up. What feels like delay is often divine preparation. Romans teaches that all things work together for good for those